Some things just go together. Wine and cheese, flowers in springtime, and yes, books and bottles. We pair your favorite author with your favorite drink. Your host of Books and Bottles, Benita Johnson.
Hello, welcome to Books and Bottles. I'm your host, Benita Johnson. Welcome to our spirited literary conversation. If you've been with us before, you're in for a treat today. We have an amazing author who shows her personal journey with her book, Damaged Goods. If this is your first time, welcome. You are certainly going to enjoy this. So without further ado, I want to get right into this topic. As you can tell, I'm dressed differently. Usually I try to dress up a little bit, but I got my pearls, but I wore this shirt for a special reason. So I want to introduce you to my friend and sister, Miss Elizabeth Rivera.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Good. I dressed for you.
I see. Wonderful.
So welcome to Books and Bottles. And I want to thank you before we even start the conversation for being so brave and sharing your journey, your very personal journey with us and through to your readers.
Yes, thank you for having me. This book is really, I'm very sensitive to everything that I've written in this book because I wanted to share my journey with others. And not just with women, but with men, anyone that's had cancer, because I feel like we're not being heard. And it's very difficult to even get the news that you have cancer. And so I wanted to put it in words so people out there can feel like they're not alone in the process.
Okay, so let's first talk about the title. It's called Damaged Goods, not Damaged. So
yeah.
Tell me about that title and the difference, why you chose damage and not damaged in the past tense.
Well, I also explained that in the book. I say damage because when you've gone through cancer, people think that you're damaged in appearance and internally your whole life. And I just wanted to express that that's not the case, that we are not damaged.
Very good. We're not. So, folks aren't. I'm wearing this shirt because my mom is a cancer survivor. So I bought this shirt to honor her.
Absolutely.
So when you were diagnosed, kind of walk us through that process. Did you find it yourself or what was the deal?
No, actually at the time I had transitioned into a different career, and I was a flight attendant, and I was, discovering the world, just having a great time. But I didn't want to stay there. I wanted to open up my own business, and it required that I had an exam. And so I just decided to go see my provider and get a regular routine exam. And she found the lump. And I had been feeling some kind of way, but we as women, or I just say just as humans, we're not always running to the doctor, and we're in denial somewhat. So I was in denial, and I had gone to get my exam because it was required. And she said, "You have a lump." And I said, "Well, I'm always lumpy. I've never really thought that it would be a big deal." So she says, let's just have another a mammogram. And I had just had a mammogram in February of that year, and this was in June, and it was negative. So I said, okay, we can do that. And when they found the lump, then everything it was really fast. She said, we'll do a biopsy, and they found more than one lump. They found 3 lumps. And then my whole world was turned upside down.
Wow. In your book, right in the beginning of the book, you kind of give us a fast forward of how this diagnosis and the process kind of impacted your relationship. And, I don't think you're alone in that. So tell our viewers a little bit about that.
Well, I was going through, like I said, I was going through a career change, and this whole diagnosis came about. We weren't quite sure, but I was married at the time. I had told my husband at the time that I had some lumps, and from then on, it just spiraled. He was like, you'll be fine. I'm leaving," and within a month, he was serving me papers. And so I had, on top of all this, I had the stress of now, getting a divorce, and we fought through that. And it was just an issue of I felt abandoned. So on top of having to deal with your provider and all the team that you have to build for your diagnosis and your treatment, now I have another team, which included an attorney and my ex-husband. So it was very stressful.
It is a lot. And again, by sharing your story, I read somewhere that 1 in 8 women in the United States are diagnosed with, or will be diagnosed with, invasive breast cancer. So, this story, me and my own family, I've had quite a few people. So unfortunately, your story is so familiar that, sometimes the team changes over the course of the treatment. So I commend you for being a trooper through that. So you have a chapter called Defining Your Crown in your book. So tell us about that part of the journey when you had to kind of go back and do some introspect, I think that is.
Okay, so I don't know, for myself, my hair was everything for me, and my breast, because I'm like, wow, that's how society kind of, sees you. And so I was fearful. I was like, oh my God, my hair's going to fall off. What am I going to do? So what I did, I was a little proactive. I cut my hair short. Okay. And then I had some mentors. I had other women that I connected with that had gone through the process. Now, mind you, everybody has their own story. Everybody goes through it differently. But I was paired with someone that was very similar to myself as far as treatment. So she has suggested that I have a party and to cut my hair short. And so I said, okay, that sounds great. So I just invited family and friends, and we took little pieces, and everybody took a little piece and cut my hair, and we celebrated, and I had a really cool crew cut. And then I was interviewed by Art Norman, and I didn't know his wife had passed away of cancer, his first wife. So we had known each other before. And so it was a very touching moment. And then my hair started falling off. So it was an easier process.
Okay.
I feel like the world was going to end because my hair was falling off.
Because you had already kind of prepared yourself for that
mentally,
by having this.
Yes.
Right. And you had like this celebration. So, okay. So as you went through the process and your body, you dealt with the body changes, your hair is different. How did you feel?
At first, I was fearful what people would think, so I wouldn't go anywhere. And I was really gray because of the chemo. The chemo kind of kills everything. And so my body, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't have, just do the normal things, eat properly. I couldn't have use the bathroom easily. So just if someone even got too close to me, I felt my skin very sensitive. So I wouldn't go, and I was afraid of what people would think. And so one day someone invited me somewhere, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And I don't like wearing wigs. I just feel like it just confines my head, and I felt the tightness and everything, because I tried. People bought me wigs and everything, and I just couldn't wear them. So I said, well, I'm just gonna go and walk out. I went to the grocery store around the corner, and this man kept staring at me. And I'm like, oh, here it goes. I'm feeling it. People are gonna ask me questions. And he was like, wow, you are so beautiful. your head is, and he thought it was a fashion statement.
Okay.
So I'm like, oh, okay. So I rocked the bald head the whole time.
Listen, that's empowerment, when, that's like when you're down to the naked you, and you're still beautiful. And, and I think in your book, you kind of talk about the inner beauty. And so you allow that inner beauty to kind of shine through, not kind of, it shone all the way through. And then other people recognized it.
Mm-hmm.
You had a part in your book, a little segment where you said, I guess you were in the process of going through, you mentioned you were pale and you had lost your hair, and you spoke to a person, a neighbor by name, somebody who knew you, and they were unable to speak back to you.
Yes.
So did you find a lot of, people change the way they acted or reacted to you through your process?
Yeah. So it's amazing that you lose friends and you gain friends. So this particular person, we had been friends for a while, and sat together at different functions. And so I had forgotten, myself. Like, I'm bald, I look sickly, I'm going through cancer. I'm just walking around in the neighborhood, and I saw her, and I was really happy to see her. And I'm like, hey. And I kept calling her, and she looked at me like I was contagious, or it was just, and then it came to me. It was like a slap in the face. I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I don't have hair. Yep. Okay. Just keep walking. Go home. But it was for a minute there, I felt ugly just for a minute. Then I had to realize that people see you differently, and maybe they can't handle it. Maybe she did recognize me and was embarrassed that she didn't recognize me at first. So I had to kind of go through the process myself, like if I was her, to kind of forgive her for what she had done, because I felt like, wow, she really is acting really like something's wrong with me.
That's beautiful that you chose to forgive, her when she,
Right.
That's beautiful. And that's a testament to who you are. I love the cover of your book. It is chic, it's classic, it's just beauty.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you. This picture actually was not for the book. It was a picture that one of my favorite photographers, he decided, he's a friend of mine, he said, I want to take pictures of you because I want you to feel beautiful. And he took a bunch of pictures, and this is one of them. I didn't know what this picture was going to be about until I decided to write the book. And I said, well, I really want people to get an impact when they see it. So, I want them to say, wow, first, like, wow, what is going on in this book? And then, they can read the book.
You achieved that. It's very impactful. It hits hard, and I like it a lot.
Thank you.
So before we continue this conversation, I want to add some wine to the mix. Oh. So with us, we have our friend Rochelle Zurcher from Santa Margarita Wines. Hey, Rochelle.
Hi, ladies. How are you?
Good. How you doing today?
Good.
I'm great. Yeah, and yes, that photo on the book is very impactful.
It's hot.
Thanks.
So what you bring to the party today?
So I brought us a red wine because it's cold outside. It's nice to have a little bit of a red wine. So Santa Margarita Chianti Classico Reserva is what we're serving up today. You may be familiar with Santa Margarita because they're mostly known for the Pinot Grigio, but there are other products that we actually make. Santa Margarita is a family-owned company out of Italy that's been making wine since the 1930s when Count Gaetano and Margherita Marzotto started the family. So that's actually, he named the winery after his wife, so he's very smart. And this little villa on the front was actually their house, and they donated it to the town of Portoguero outside Venice, and that's now the city hall in that little town. So it's all very family. It's nice that it's the fourth generation that's running it now, and so they keep it, they don't keep it corporate, they keep it family. So it's a nice wine. So this Chianti comes from Greve up in the Chianti region in Tuscany. And it's a Classico because when you think about the Chianti region in Tuscany, kind of like a dartboard where like, there's Chianti and then there's Chianti Classicos, like the bullseye. So it's for the original area. All the grapes have to come from there. It just really talks to the certification of the wine and the authentic Chianti Classico area. I mean, they've been making wine there for since the Roman days. So this particular blend is 80% Sangiovese, 10% Merlot, and 10% Cab. So, and most Chiantis you have to be 80%. All Chiantis you have to be 80% Sangiovese or more, and then a blend. So that's the blend on this one. So,
okay.
Yeah. So it's lovely. It's nice and round and full, and it's such a great dry, but got a little bit of a fruit taste. It's nice to cuddle up on a cold winter day with a book and a nice glass or 2 or 3 of Chianti. So.
Now, I love Chianti, and I think, it had gotten, a bad rap back in the day because they were the wines in the basket.
Yes.
That sit on the tables of every, family Italian restaurant that you went to. And so people kind of looked at Chianti, and then, of course, the old jug wines.
Oh, yeah.
People kind of looked at it as, not a quality production, but Chiantis are DOCGs, I think, which is the highest level of wine that's made in Italy, and they're made really well. I went to Tuscany one time, and I think me and my friend, we tried to drink our weight in Chianti. So.
That's a nice thing when you go over to Italy is you eat and drink your body weight, but you walk everywhere, so you kind of come back even.
Exactly, and it's like all day, and you look at those people. I remember buying a leather jacket, and I was like, how can they fit this? They eat all day, and every meal is like 5 courses. Yeah,
they take their meals seriously. That's a lot of food, but they're small courses, so that's what helps.
They are
right. Yeah, the Chianti. We always think it's the table wine in the basket, but a lot of companies, including the one I work for, they put a lot of time and effort into really reinventing the Chianti brand of wine and putting a lot of effort. And like you said, the Chianti Classico is the DOCG. So when you see that, you know that it's authentic. It's gone through all kinds of checks and balances, if you will. They want to make sure that all the grapes come from that area and bottled in that area. And, they just want to keep it authentic. So
yeah,
it's a real treat.
Like that. So I have to ask, I know a lot of restaurants are closed or at limited capacity in the country. How has that impacted the sales of wine? I know it impacts like small businesses, but you guys are a pretty large outfit. So how does it?
It's definitely impacted the wine and beverage industry across the board. Some areas like Florida, where they're able to eat outdoors all year long, it hasn't had quite as big an impact. But here in Chicago, it definitely has taken a toll. Luckily, we also have the retail side. So the sales in retail have actually come up this year because more people are buying bottles and taking them home. So it's kind of helped balance out that a little bit, but we're really, really looking forward to things opening up again and people being able to just sit and enjoy, their dinner and have some wine. But it has made a bit of an impact. So
I'm definitely doing my part. I know my recycle guys have a lot to talk about when they pick up my recycle. So.
Oh yeah, same.
So I want to thank you for joining us, and you want to hang out with us for a little while, Elizabeth and I. We're going to continue to talk about damaged goods.
Definitely.
All right. So Elizabeth, I want to talk about the intimate part of your life. How did this change in your body, your change in your attitude impact the intimacy?
Well, that's a great question. Well, it's very difficult because you have to reprogram yourself to have build up your self-esteem. Because now I had a double mastectomy, so I don't have I have implants, but what the surgeon didn't tell me that worked on me was that he didn't take enough, or he took too much skin, so he wasn't able to build a nipple. So I don't have one. So I literally feel like I have a cat suit on. I had to have 3D tattoos put on because so I can feel mentally like I'm normal.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
and it happens to a lot of women. Also, I try to talk to women about it that have gone through what I've gone through, and we talk about sex after cancer. It's very difficult for some of us. You have to prepare. Like as a single person, I have to prepare my partner for my for me. Like
Yeah.
you have to let them know what they may see or not see, or if they want to see or not see. So it's very difficult.
Women have that have gone through this, process and anything dealing with the breast. I have some, as we go from girlhood to womanhood, and getting our breasts are kind of like a part of that transition. And we're real proud of that transition. And then like something like this happens, and it's good to tell the story. I think it's both good for other people to hear, and it's good for us to tell it therapeutically. I have some friends that have a nonprofit, and they did a project called TITS, TITS, and it stands for Telling Intimate True Stories. And so they did castings of women's breasts, and they, had to write a story beside it. And they did a tour in like the DC, Maryland, and Virginia area, different hospitals, and just put this up. And those stories helped so many women that were going through the process. So when you find women who gone through something similar, they read your book. What kind of feedback do you get from them?
Um, First, they don't know how to explain their situation, and then you have to make them feel comfortable enough. Then once you do, the stories are amazing. I mean, you have stories from women that have been married for a very long time, and their husbands decided that they will never turn the lights on again when they're having sex to because there's different types of cancer also, like for instance someone that has colon cancer, now they have to navigate and learn how to be intimate in a different way. So depending on the situation, and they're comfortable with you, but you have to be honest with them as well and let them know, be open. And once you're open and they feel like they can tell their story, you can tell that the stress level has gone down because now they can relate to you and see and communicate, knowing that there's someone else that is experiencing the same thing as they are.
Certainly, we're not in this alone.
Yeah.
So loving yourself after cancer is kind of like the culmination of the book, and kind of brings us where we are today. So you want to talk a little bit about that?
I'm sorry. What was?
Loving yourself after cancer. That's like towards the end of your book,
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of where we are now, right?
Yeah. That's where we are now. Every day is a beautiful day. 99% of healing is a good attitude. Um, you just, you know, you know how they say after a certain age you don't care about anything. Actually, after you have cancer, you don't care about anything. You don't care about what people think, what you do. Just make yourself happy. Find what gives you joy, and don't let anybody spoil it for you.
So how much would you say attitude played in healing? We always say positivity helps with healing and getting to the next level.
I would say a good 90% is your attitude, how you go on about your treatment. But also, you have to educate yourself. You have to ask questions. You can't be fearful of your provider telling you something and you're not feeling it. You are the best doctor because you're the one that knows your body the best. And if you don't like something, you need to address it. When I first found out, I didn't know anything about cancer. For me, cancer, the word cancer was a death sentence, because everybody that I knew, was very few people that I knew that had cancer, they had passed away. So what I did was I made sure I had someone with me at all times, because I could not hear what the doctors were telling me, because I was thinking that I was going to die. But once I learned that there were so many options, and some that they wouldn't even offering, but you had to educate, I had to educate myself to learning these things and bringing them up. They're like, oh yeah, we do have that. Oh, and I had issues with insurance as well. You get certain information when you have good insurance, and certain information when you don't have good insurance. So people have to be aware of that.
Wow, that I hadn't thought about that, but I can understand that's true, and it's kind of like what people say, like in terms of unequal access to healthcare. So I guess that makes a lot of sense. So I understand. We good? I think we okay. So I want to ask you, how can people? Well, no, I want to ask another question before. Oops, look, I'm about to knock my laptop over. Before we finish the conversation, I'm gonna go back a second. You said something about we not going to the doctor. I mean, I know women, we get real busy, and we put a whole lot of things before ourselves and our health. So, what would anything that you can suggest to folks who were, as you said, kind of reluctant, you had things going on, and you had just had a mammogram, you mentioned 4 months before diagnosis. What is there you could say that could stress the importance of checking on our bodies? Like for me, like my mom always taught us to do the self exams anyway. And so she found her own lump, actually. So what would you do, or how could you encourage other women and men to continue to check on themselves?
I would think it's very important to go to the doctor. It's very, very important. But you also have to know your own body. Like you said, self-exams. So many people have a stigma of just feeling themselves, and they need to do that, do it in the shower, men and women. Just do it quickly and kind of get to know your own body, because you are the one that knows what's going on. Like I said, I had been feeling a certain kind of way before I even went to the doctor, but I was ignoring it. Do not ignore the signals. Sometimes people think, oh, if I go to the doctor, they're going to think this because, maybe I'm just being naggy. No, because they are just guessing whatever is going on with you, and you're the one that knows best. So just gut feeling is the best. Your intuition, you know yourself best.
Thank you for that. That's perfect. I want to thank you for being a part, and again, sharing your story. How can we get your book, Damaged Goods?
So I have a website. It's damagedgoods3ds.com. And the 3DS means that's how large my breasts were, triple D. So that's how people remember 3DS after Damaged Goods.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And Rochelle, how do people find out what's going on with Santa Margarita?
Well, we have a website, the santamargaritausa.com. And then also, we sell most of our products in wine stores all over the country. If you have a favorite store that you don't see our products in, just ask the manager or the owner there about it, and they'll be able to bring it in for you. So
perfect. I thank you, ladies, so much for being here. I want to talk to our viewers and let you know, if we have authors out there and you want to be a part of Books and Bottles, hit us up and I forgot the email, but hit us up. You can hit me up on my page at divinewineclub.com or on my Facebook page. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. All right, I found the email. It's at info@grose, PROD, short for production.com. If you're an author, send us your book or send us a snippet and we'll get you on the show. Ladies, again, thank you. And to our viewers, I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.